Massive changes are coming to crypto in 2026, from regulation to real-world tokenization of assets like stocks and real estate, to corporations and broader financial system integrating crypto directly into their operations. I'm going to be telling you 3 things you should be looking at for 2026, and specifically what cryptos you should be considering for your portfolio that can benefit from these developments. So number 1, regulation. This is one of the biggest positive catalysts in 2026 that we will likely see. Specifically, U.S. regulation on crypto that centers around integration of crypto in the public and private sectors. The executive branch in U.S. Congress has indicated a strong desire to integrate blockchain technology into the economy with guardrails that protect consumers and businesses, but without stifling innovation and pushing crypto companies outside the U.S. So I believe this regulation will happen soon. The administration sees crypto along with AI as the 2 major fields of competition over the next decade or so. And the US definitely wants to remain number 1. Recently, we had the Genius Act passed earlier in 2025, which basically legalized fiat-backed USD stablecoins for public use by government agencies and also private use. This has led many businesses to start integrating stablecoin payments directly into their operations. So we've seen players like SoFi, one of the biggest online lenders, actually create its own USD stablecoin, while other companies are looking to either create their own stablecoins or even create their own L2 network, such as a Base or Arbitrum, for their operations. The biggest that might be coming up as far as regulation now seems to be the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act. And this is expected, hopefully, in early 2026. This is going to establish, number 1, what are digital commodities versus securities. To establish whether it's a digital commodity or security is going to be a rules-based methodology to determine certain characteristics about that crypto to make it a commodity. For example, it's going to look at whether that crypto is sufficiently decentralized, meaning is there open source code that anybody can use it, or does it have a distributed node system, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum? Having all of these characteristics based on the final law that may come out would make that blockchain exempt from securities law and place them under the jurisdiction of the CFTC, which is the Commodities Future Trade Commission. Number 2 would be exempting DeFi protocols from anti-fraud and KYC requirements. So as you know, right now, if you go set up an account either at a bank or either at Coinbase or any other thing almost that uses money, you have to do certain KYC procedures to identify who you are, your ID, your information. Currently, for DeFi protocols such as Uniswap or PancakeSwap, billions of dollars are exchanged every day, and there's no KYC as far as using those protocols. The new act that's going to be passed is going to attempt potentially to place KYC or anti-money laundering requirements on the front end of the website. For example, if you go to uniswap.org right now, and you can trade on Uniswap once you hook up your MetaMask wallet or your other type of wallet. That interface or that website that you go to, uniswap.org, is actually ran by and created by an identifiable central third party. Since it is centralized, that could allow the government to enforce rules on that entity on how people use their website. This is totally different from the blockchain. The Ethereum blockchain is decentralized, it's open source, and anybody has access to it. But the website that you go to interact with that blockchain is not. Obviously, number 1, you could go download the open source libraries from GitHub and you could interact directly with the blockchain. However, 90% of people, especially retail users, use these websites to interact. So we could end up in a situation where certain governments are enforcing Uniswap and others to have KYC on their websites or to have some AML or anti-money laundering type of rules and enforcements on their websites. If these are enforced on these sites like Uniswap, would that allow other people to create websites that allow you to interact directly with the Uniswap protocol without having a KYC? And you could quickly end up in a situation where there's whack-a-mole on each of these websites because the actual protocol is open source, and creating a website is just connecting the interface that's friendly for consumers. And it could actually end up making things more unsafe if these websites start to proliferate. And so we'll see how that turns out. That is still up for discussion. My main point is that regulation is coming in the US, and this will establish a rules-based methodology for how we use DeFi and the many other crypto protocols. Number 2, real-world tokenization. This is the tokenization of stocks, bonds, real estate, tokenized trading, commodities such as gold, oil, copper. All of this is eventually going to be able to be traded and stored on the blockchain. And by that, I mean the value of that's going to be able to be stored on the blockchain. As we talked about in my previous video, there's over $19 billion today in real assets like US Treasury debt or public equities. At $19 billion at the end of this year, it's up almost 250% versus last year. Very bullish on tokenization. The US Treasury Secretary stated earlier that they believe the stablecoin market, which is currently only around 300 billion, could grow to 2 trillion in 2028. That's 500% higher. How does that happen? If you think about the Genius Act, one of the things that it required was that every USD stablecoin is backed by US government liquid debt, which means that you have to have T-bills, you have to have US government debt or cash to back your USD stablecoins. For every dollar there is in a USD stablecoin, there must be at least $1 of US government debt backing it. This is very important if you think about companies like Circle with USDC or even SoFi USD, because they have to buy all of these government denominated USD assets to back their stablecoins. And so that's going to drive demand. Real world tokenization is going to happen, and it's likely going to accelerate in 2026. We've already seen companies like NASDAQ, which is one of the biggest stock trading venues in the US, openly say that it's engaging regulators right now to create 24/7 stock trading and also tokenized stock trading. So this is something that we're definitely going to see pick up in 2026 and the years to come. Third, and this is one of the biggest wild cards for 2026 concerning crypto prices, is going to be the ending term of the current U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. His term officially ends May 15th, 2026. After his term ends, the current president can nominate a new federal chairman to lead the Federal Reserve that has to be confirmed by the Senate. The administration has repeatedly and multiple times indicated its desire for aggressive rate cuts. And the nomination for the Fed chair that comes in May is likely going to be someone who wants to do aggressive rate cuts. So what does that mean? When aggressive rate cuts happen, you have lower rates equals a weaker dollar equals higher inflation expectations, which equals capital rotating into Bitcoin or DeFi protocols that have a higher yield, which would benefit Ethereum. Example, 2020, there was 150 basis points of cuts to the federal fund rates done by the Federal Reserve. Bitcoin that year went up 300% and Ethereum went up over 460%. For Bitcoin specifically, Fed rate cuts or interest rate dropping increases the demand for Bitcoin because lower rates usually equal higher inflation. And Bitcoin today, 95% of the supply is already out. It's a global liquid hedge against inflation. How does it benefit Ethereum? Secondly, is that DeFi yields. And you can see an article I'm gonna have below in the description where you can see what I wrote about this already, is that DeFi yields are typically higher than what traditional finance yields offer. Whether you're looking at a high yield savings account or other investments, DeFi offers a higher yield, but also more risks that come with that. When the Federal Reserve lowers rates, interest rates in general go down. Interest rates for mortgages, interest rates for banks, your savings account, etc. That capital and people are going to look for higher rates. What rates has historically been higher than traditional finance rates? It's been DeFi. And you can see that more in the article I have below where I talk about this. So a lot of capital is going to move from traditional finance as yields goes down, and they're going to move into DeFi for investors who are seeking to maintain or get a higher yield. How does this benefit Ethereum or Solana or other L1s? Is that although the TVL or the total value lock increases, the main thing is that transaction volume will increase, and that boosts the demand for ETH or Solana for gas. So to sum it up, the two cryptocurrencies you should be focused on in 2026, number one, Bitcoin. While there has been a temporary price decrease, ignore these short-term fluctuations and focus on the fundamentals. The fundamentals are, number one, 95% of the supply of Bitcoin has been issued. So 95% is out there. Big inflation hedge. Number two, the addresses with non-zero balances of Bitcoin continue to increase, up over 3 million this year compared to last year. Next, Bitcoin is becoming a primary treasury asset on corporate balance sheets. At the end of 2024, only around 3% of Bitcoin supply was on public companies' corporate balance sheet. Today, over 5% of Bitcoin supply are in corporate treasuries, and with hundreds of companies holding it. So this is a positive that shows increased demand to hold Bitcoin. Next, Bitcoin is going to be added to a lot of central banks of countries, from the United States to El Salvador to Europe, considering adding Bitcoin to its reserves. More and more countries are going to do this, either publicly or privately. Make no mistake, Bitcoin provides other countries a very liquid asset to hedge US dollar inflation and fight inflation in general. So there are many countries that are likely not announcing it publicly, but definitely are adding Bitcoin to its central bank reserves and its government treasuries. Next, the cryptocurrency you really want to look at in your portfolio of having for 2026 is Ethereum. We've already talked about real-world tokenization, how eventually you're going to have stock trading, tokenized stock trading, real estate transactions, and the growth in stablecoin activity. And all of that's going to happen on the blockchain. The question you have to ask yourself is which blockchain is going to be adopted. Let me provide some facts and figures on this. Around 65% of the $19 billion in real-world assets, excluding stablecoins, is on the Ethereum blockchain. That's about $12 billion today. Concerning stablecoin supply, around 56%, or 171 billion of the 300 billion in total stablecoin supply, is on the Ethereum blockchain. If you're a corporation, whether you're Uber, Amazon, JP Morgan, Bank of America, and you're launching a stablecoin or an app that uses the blockchain, how can you ignore Ethereum when they have this type of market share? In addition, Ethereum has some strong advantages. It's decentralized, it's built trust over the last 10 years, and has a growing network effect, as well as a development team that continues to respond and improve the blockchain to appeal to the needs of businesses, customers, and governments. Some recent developments where we've seen traditional finance companies come to crypto and use Ethereum. Number one, JP Morgan, one of the biggest banks, has launched its first tokenized money market fund on Ethereum. SoFi, one of the biggest online lenders, has also launched its USD stablecoin on Ethereum. These are traditional finance companies picking Ethereum as its primary blockchain to launch its business operations. So Ethereum is a token you definitely want to look at for 2026. So what's the angle? Crypto has a lot of positive catalysts going for it in 2026. Regulation and the further integration of DeFi and other crypto apps and blockchain into the financial system and the private sector is going to happen. Number two, real-world tokenization, stocks, tokenized trading of bonds, real estate, option, other financial assets will likely come to the blockchain soon, and definitely is very likely in 2026. You also have exchanges like the NASDAQ now looking at 24/7 tokenized stock trading. Number three, a new Federal Reserve chair. The current Fed chair's term ends this May 2026, at which time a new chair can be nominated by the president and approved by the Senate, and that is likely to be a person who supports aggressive rate cuts. And those aggressive rate cuts are going to spur more inflation, which is going to be a driver to Bitcoin, and it's going to be a driver to Ethereum, because as rates go down, traditional finance saving rates and other rates go down while DeFi is still higher. So those DeFi rates will become more attractive to those investors. Which brings me into the final point, the two tokens you want to hold in your portfolio or closely look at for 2026. Bitcoin, fundamentals are strong. 95% of supply is issued. It's a great inflation hedge. More and more companies are adding Bitcoin to their corporate balance sheets, and it's being integrated at a large scale by companies. Secondly, Ethereum. It's the platform of choice today for businesses. They have a majority market share, whether you're looking at real-world tokenization or stablecoin supply. Most businesses that want to launch today definitely are going to use Ethereum as one of its choices or its main choice to launch this platform. And we have already seen that with JP Morgan, and we've already seen that as well with SoFi. So these are the tokens you should be looking at. There are other great ones such as Solana and Sui, but nonetheless, Ethereum remains in the lead. And that's what's the angle on the moves you should be making for 2026 for your portfolio to take advantage of all these upcoming positive crypto developments. Until next time, and Happy New Year.